Hello, work friends. So, yesterday on LinkedIn, I posted about a podcast that I put up as part of my normal design block podcast series. But what that included was um, an AI going in and saying a lot of good things about me. And all of this came from an idea I had while I was on a walk. I've been in the job market now for a number of months, and through being in the job market, I have created a lot of materials about myself just to kind of like help me get my story on paper so I can sell myself well and talk about the things I've done. So I have all of this stuff that I've made. And as I was walking, I was thinking, how could I put all of that stuff to work for me? I'm not the best at self promotion at times, I'll admit that. So I wanted to see what AI might do with that. So what I did when I came home was I took all of that information, which you can kind of see here in Notebook LM, and basically said, "Give me a podcast about this guy." And I was kind of impressed with the output. I'm going to uh, share a sample of what that is now.
What really truly makes a product successful? I mean, is it just about having a sleek design, a great user interface, or is there something much deeper, more strategic?
So it starts out with this intro that talks about me essentially, which is interesting because I'm interesting. But what it does then is it goes into a typical podcast format with a back and forth with two participants.
Guide and coach rather than direct, and I create the space and safety for people to do their best work while growing toward their own goals. Hmm. So this isn't just, a nice philosophy. It's a practical strategy for removing barriers, creating the right conditions so his teams can genuinely excel, and importantly, grow.
Okay, so we've talked philosophy, the approach, but now for the part.
So you get the idea of this like point and counterpoint kind of discourse back and forth, which I thought was a good and rational way to take like all of my information, turn it into a podcast, and roll with it. Um, so that's the Notebook LM version of it. The other part that I wanted to try was Bench. I haven't used Bench a whole lot, but it's I got introduced to it through following Luke Robleski, and I'm a fan of his, so I thought, let me take a look at what's going on there. I gave Bench the exact same information, the exact same documents, and told it to do the exact same thing, and its output is a little different.
Picture this. You're a supplier trying to get your products onto one of the world's largest e-commerce platforms. You've filled out endless forms, uploaded countless documents, and somehow you're still stuck in onboarding hell. Sound familiar? Now imagine a design
Okay, so that's the intro. If we dive kind of further in,
and sales teams to validate customer needs. Eric launched a new email authentication product that increased annual recurring revenue by 15%.
so the details of those are not important right now. If you're hiring me, they are. You can listen to them. But what I thought was interesting was it's like a complete different approach. One with Notebook LM is you have um, what feels like richer storytelling because you've got the discourse, you've got the two people kind of going back and forth, people in air quotes, and then on the bench one, you just have one person kind of reading a story. Both have, I think, interesting and valid takes on storytelling. Um, but yeah, I thought that alone was an interesting difference. But then if you look at Bench's UI, you've got some things here that I think are almost more interesting than the content that it put out. Um, and that is there are like these little micro helpers based off of the content that it created for you. So we've got this 12-minute and 27-second monologue about yours truly. And maybe you don't have 12 minutes and 27 seconds to listen to anything, much less about me. So it's reasonable to think someone might want a shorter version of that next step. And it gives you that option right here. Create a shorter 5-minute audio version, focusing on just the key highlights. Another action, which makes sense, is kind of anticipating what I might use this for. Generate accompanying show notes or transcripts for distribution. and then create visual assets like audiogram snippets for social media. So Bench did a job of outputting what I asked it to, but then also gave me like really interesting ways to carry that output forward into something else, which is not anything that NotebookLM did. And neither one I think is like better or not, like depending on what you're trying to use it for. I appreciate this kind of thought, and I think that it is going to be those kinds of things as AI tools develop that will become important. We're all kind of bewildered by the magic of I gave this thing a bunch of text documents and
Everyone waits for it, right? The proof in
this
the
came
pudding.
out.
How does this impossibly simple idea actually, manifest when the stakes are high? Let's dig into some of these.
You've got the intake of breath, you've got the pause. Like, yeah, we've been doing this for a couple years now. It's kind of what we expect. Doesn't make it less magical. All right. So in the blog post, I will have both of these audio files in their entirety, so you can listen to them. You can check the differences out. I think the most interesting difference coming out of this experiment is just looking at how these AI tools are evolving and the way that they're helping us move forward once they've done a chunk of work. So that's that. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you think of this format. I thought it would be fun to do and be able to share with you guys. And so this video will be on LinkedIn. It'll also be embedded in the blog post. Take a look at the blog post, listen to the podcast, give me some feedback, and try some of this out. It's fun. It's very interesting to hear these otherworldly voices hype you up so hard. So it's kind of fun. All right. Thanks. Take care.